With the elections coming up this Tuesday, Tea Party members hope their frustration will drive voters to make changes in Washington. For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Michael Freeman. If you would like to share your concerns about this issue, please contact the Virginia Department of Transportation at 1-800-367-7623. For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Michael Freeman. Fatigue is one of the main problems the police department is trying to manage with the reorganization. Saving money in light of state budget cuts is the main goal. The police department is expecting to save $25,000.
I'm here. People here are supporting Senator Goodlatte, and he should cruise to an easy victory here. No one is very concerned. He has no Democratic opponent, only a Libertarian and Independent.
But not all Lexington educators will see larger paychecks. On March 7th, the board approved a two-step pay increase for teachers not already at the top of the pay scale. To compensate, the board is also looking for federal grant money to give bonuses to its higher-paid faculty. Lexington City Council is reviewing budget proposals and should decide on a final budget by May 1st. County residents hoping to sell their homes may face obstacles besides the economy. Rockbridge reporter Finley Merritt takes a look at another factor that could affect local property values. Her nephew is still missing. Snideau's sister lived in the coastal town of Notorious City in Japan's Miyagi region. Snideau and her sister grew up in the northeastern city of Sendai. She has been teaching at VMI since 1999. Some Lexington citizens are still upset that Confederate flags were flown on the city's streets 2 months ago as part of Lee Jackson Day. City Council received a petition with more than 350 signatures at last week's meeting. This year, the Rockbridge County Sheriff's Department is cracking down on loud late-night partying by stepping up enforcement. Noise complaints this year are on track to be the highest ever.
The policy that the Sheriff's Office has adapted this fall was if we're getting calls to those residences with student partying, then the officers, the deputies, are citing whatever violations they see. And that's why the underage possession, drinking underage, those arrests have gone up.
And they have gone up. The Sheriff's Department has set a record this year for student minor in possession arrests, also called MIPs. But some students believe the zero-tolerance policy will have little impact on behavior.
The percentage of people that will actually get MIPs out of all the people that drink will be so ridiculously low still. It's not a real incentive to not drink.
Neighbors of these students aren't seeing a whole lot of progress either.
It has been worse this year. I don't know why, because I thought that we were sort of working towards getting things under control.
An earlier effort to control the amount of noise from late-night parties is the Campus Community Coalition, but this group was designed to ease relations between W&L students and local residents. Yet despite its good intentions, the group doesn't seem to be reducing the problem.
It's been worse, and the students have forced, in a sense, the residents to call the police more than the residents actually would prefer to.
Is the Campus Community Coalition a cure-all for town gown issues? No. And at the same time, there's no other body that exists other than what has come out of Washington and Lee to have the conversations.
They call themselves the Tea Party Patriots, and they say they're fed up with big government. What began in 2009 as small protests has become a high-profile national movement.
They want to see government officials held accountable. They want to see a return to the tenets of the Constitution, and they want to see tax reform.
The Rockbridge Tea Party held a forum at Waddell Elementary School 2 weeks ago. Republican Congressman Bob Goodlatte played to the crowd's hatred of government waste. He gave a top 10 list of misspent dollars.
Researchers at Rice University and University of Texas at Dallas, they're going to get $194,000 in stimulus funds to study people's perceptions of the stimulus.
People who attended the forum had various opinions about the greatest issue facing America today.
For me, fair tax.
It may be painful, we're all going to feel some of it, but it's the price we pay and it's the whole we done.
The biggest mistake is stimulus program over expenditures.
Some local Democratic leaders applaud the Tea Party's level of political enthusiasm, but feel the movement lacks focus.
I think their positions are, in some cases, somewhat vague, and although they lend themselves to campaign rhetoric, they don't tell us how they're going to get the job done.
I guess the question would be, do they have a clear motivation other than, stop the taxes? And if I think they have not been able to this point to clearly define their goals.
Virginia Governor Bob McDonnell argued the new 70-mile-an-hour speed limit would allow goods to move faster across the state. But the change has prompted questions regarding safety.
You know, you have increased traffic on the interstates, higher speeds. I think you're just inviting, you know, more problems and more traffic wrecks, crashes, and at higher speeds, worse consequences.
The law in Virginia says reckless driving is 81 miles an hour and above, but drivers who use these highways frequently say the new limit won't encourage them to approach such dangerous speeds.
Most I'll do is 5 miles over. I'll do about 75, but 70, you know, that's a pretty comfortable speed for all truck drivers.
If I was doing 80 mile an hour, I'd want somebody to pull me over. I'm not gonna drive 80 mile an hour for safety reasons, man. I probably won't even do the 70, okay?
It has helped me quite a bit, because before, sometimes I was inclined to speed because of time issues. But now I won't be speeding. I'll just be going the speed limit.
Joyce doesn't think the reasons for the new limit are justified.
Someone said that maybe a justification was it would allow people to reach destinations faster. That came from some official. But why not raise it to 100 miles an hour? I mean, you know what I mean? No, I don't buy that at all.
Officials at the Virginia Department of Transportation don't worry that the new speed limit will create a safety concern.
It's designed to be traveled that fast. So if motorists stick to 70, I think it'll be fine.
For those who don't stick to 70, though, state troopers have a simple message.
It's not okay, and we're going to be enforcing the speed limit at 70 miles an hour.
Officer Andy Painter begins his workday at 8 in the morning. He checks in at the police station, then begins his patrol. There is one big difference now. He will be working a 12-hour shift instead of the 8-hour shift he's used to, and he'll get more days off.
We worked a lot of days in a row, so we are getting more days off with this 12-hour schedule, which is a big plus.
One of the main components with the schedule that addresses fatigue management is to keep the work week short and make sure that we do everything on our end to make sure that we don't disrupt days off. So when the officers, when they're on the days off, they're off.
Fatigue is one of the main problems the police department is trying to manage with the reorganization. Saving money in light of state budget cuts is the main goal. The police department is expecting to save $25,000.
We will save that amount and more. That's probably a conservative estimate.
However, 3 officers are currently on light duty, so other officers will have to work overtime to cover their shifts.
Quite frankly, I'm not so sure we're going to save a whole lot of overtime in this fiscal year. We have a number of situations where we're going to have to pay more overtime.
But for Officer Andy Painter, the transition has been easy.
I feel fine. I feel good. The schedule is working.
For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Michael Freeman.